Hey everyone, welcome to the Cubs Ivy channel. This channel is a source for Chicago Cubs updates, player news, game scores, fan reactions, and a lot more. Our channel will have segments that include, sometimes bold predictions, green or brown, latest updates, game recaps, and all things related to Chicago Cubs. Go Cubs, go! A couple things I want to go over today. Pitchers reporting, Alex Bregman news, and sort of some lineup predictions and a segment of green or brown. Our first one actually. So Alex Bregman, sorry, pitcher news. Pitchers are reporting, right? Today's February 9th, and so all pitchers are reporting for Chicago Cubs at least. And I've been a Cubs fan for my entire life. Grew up watching them on WGN, and this time of year, the excitement starts to build, the hope, the optimization. Is the pitchers and catchers reporting an exciting time? No, not really. It'd be cool to go watch Justin Steele and Emeganaga go through a bullpen, but in reality, they're just kind of checking in and starting to get cranking. February 14th, I believe, is the first team practice, and I'm under the impression that most people have already checked in, but those are the deadlines for them to report. So things are getting started, and Alex Bregman, the news with Alex Bregman, at least as of today and the last couple days, nothing confirmed, but the Cubs are still in play. I think a lot of things have to happen for the Cubs to have an opportunity. They still have news at least reporting the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, I believe Detroit are all pursuing Bregman, and a couple of them historically are a little more comfortable providing that long-term contract with a high ARR, more so than the Cubs. Cubs are usually a little bit shorter return, decent ARR, but typically will allow the opt-out for the player and the organization. And that's not what Bregman seems to be reporting that he's interested in. However, as a Cubs fan, would love to have Bregman here, and love Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw is projected to be a contributor and potentially starting at third base for the Cubs this season, especially without Bregman there, with obviously Swanson and Nico up the middle, with the Michael Bush locking down the first base corner. As a Cubs fan, I look at what we have available, and it seems like, as far as salary space and payroll goes, that we still have somewhere around the 30 million mark before the luxury tax hits. And based on what Alex Bregman has been requesting, we can afford that. So why wouldn't the Cubs go after a name like that and solidify third base? Yes, we have a great prospect coming up, but solidify third base and maybe have Matt Shaw be that utility between third and second base. A lot of people are bringing up that would put us too close to the cap, and I feel like even if we are close to that cap to start the season, there's always opportunity to free up space through trades. I know Nico Horner's been a big name, and I love Nico as a Cubs fan, but from a business perspective, if it makes sense, because of I think he's at 11.5 million, to get that freed up by trades when it gets close to the trade deadline, and we can maybe get another arm or a bat for a little bit less to create some space, then I think that makes sense. So, and I know the Alex Bregman deal people may think that the locking in Kyle Tucker long term, it might impact that, but why would it? If you can commit to Bregman, we got to commit to Tucker or somebody like him in order to keep competing in the NL Central. So yeah, Cubs fan, come on, Bregman. You're probably not watching, but just make us the only player and work something out, please. Um, wanted to Probably wanted to go through like a projected lineup with Bregman too. Bregman versus not Bregman, and without Bregman, start the season. I like our lineup. Likely Hap leading off. In left field, Tucker, that number 2 hole in right field. Seiya Suzuki, kind of delegated that DH. I'm sure he'll get a little bit of playing time in right to give Tucker a rest, but that DH role. Then Michael Bush, hopefully he can recreate what he did at the beginning of last season, mash in that 4 hole. Dansby Swanson at short. Nico, fingers crossed he's healthy and doesn't have any hiccups through spring training and he can start, day one or at least close to the beginning of the season at second. PCA, center field. Matt Shaw, earning that third base spot, getting his first big league reps, and then Miguel Amaya, in the nine spot behind the plate. Not a bad lineup. I think that 1 through 4 is pretty strong, and this year we really need. To be successful, we really need Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner in that 5-6 hole to really put up those 260, 270 batting averages with in Dansby's case too, with a little more power. But Nico maybe more so, the 270, 275 with some clutch RBIs. I think he struggled with that a little bit in 2024. But PCA is coming on strong. I feel like he'll continue to develop, and Matt Shaw hopefully can be a bright spot for us with a young player and a maybe a big bat in that 8 hole. And let's look at the lineup though with Bregman. Okay, so Ian Happ leading off. Bregman moving to the 2 hole at third base. Kyle Tucker in the 3 at right field. Seiya Suzuki moving to 4, the DH. Michael Bush at first. Dansby Swanson at short. Nico Horner at second. PCA in center, and Miguel Amaya at catcher. I mean, as a Cubs fan, who the heck wouldn't want to be able to add that bat in the number 2 hole and pushing down some big hitters, down to 3, 4, 5. And I mean, those 5 guys projected to hit, probably all of them 20 plus home runs, and that's not a lineup I'd want to face as an opposing pitcher. So and then you get some production out of Horner, Dansby, what they're capable of, and PCA's consistent production, and Miguel maybe he has a hit or two in a clutch moments every now and then, besides for that 1 or 2, 3 weeks that he did where he was one of the hotter bats. But would love it. Would love to have Bregman in that spot. So let's go Cubs. Get it done for us. Make this a little more exciting year. Love to be able to compete for that NL Central. Injuries happen. Something's going to happen along the way. So having a guy like Bregman and then Matt Shaw and Bertie as their backups and utilities, we can compete with anybody. So I wanted to go through a segment, give this a shot. Our channel's called Cubs Ivy. So I want to do a kind of a it's almost like a hot and cold, but I want to call it the green or brown. So there's the ivy. Is ivy green and optimistic, or is it turning brown and kind of dying on the vine? So the first thing I want to talk about is the kind of predictions with the Alex Bregman scenario, and You know, is Alex Bregman likely to be with the Cubs? Green or brown? I'm saying brown, unfortunately. I don't see, as a Cubs fan, I'd love it, of course. We already talked about that, but I don't see it truly happening and the Cubs getting it done over the other teams in play. All the rest of the teams, I believe, in the AL, but all the teams in play. So what does that mean for the Cubs? Um, I still think the Cubs are in the hunt for a division title with the lineup we have. Um, you know, Nico Horner's got to be healthy and play second, and Matt Shaw's got to contribute at third. But you know, I also feel like that puts it in a position to be with that cap space to be very aggressive at the trade deadline. So if someone like Matt Shaw or um, good gosh, Michael Bush, duh. Michael Bush at first is, you know, they're both young, and Michael Bush has proven some, but you know, over the 162 games, maybe he's struggling a little bit to contribute in the spots we require. Same for Matt. Maybe we were able to buy a huge bat with a quality defensive player at the trade deadline. Maybe we're able to um, get another arm, or you know, maybe that's a time to move Nico Horner if he's struggling and Matt Shaw's contributing. Move to second, go out and get a third baseman with a big bat. I'm not sure, not familiar with who might be available, but that's months away. So, you know, we're 6, 7 months away from, or 5, 6 months away from having these conversations and then truly coming to fruition. But I feel like before the trade deadline, Cubs are going to feel like they're in the hunt, and I'm sure they want to have some flexibility to make a move. But um, other predictions, um, green or brown, would be the Cubs, you know, winning the division. And I think that's an absolute green. You know, they're even with the current lineup and team, they are projected, you know, by some sources, you know, have to have an 80%, some sources a 50% chance. But I think some of the losses that the um, Cardinals and the Brewers have faced, along with the consistent struggles of the other teams in the Central, I think the Cubs have a good opportunity to take advantage of the NL Central. Let's avoid that 2 month stint where we were the worst team in baseball. Let's avoid that, and we'll become all of a sudden one of the better teams in the National League. So I feel like we'll have another prediction of records as the season gets closer, but but I think they're for sure on the green side of taking the division from the other NL Central teams, making the playoffs the first time in 4 years. So that's it. Looking forward to having some Bregman news soon, whether it's a confirmation of, hey, Cubs gave it a go when it didn't work out, or shoot, we get lucky and he puts on Cubby Blue and joins some of his, you know, Presley and Tucker, some of his former teammates, and helps us not only go for the division, but maybe a little further than we've gone in the last few years. So this is a Brad Savage with the Cubs IV channel. Stay tuned for more. We'll have some more updates as the season progresses. And go Cubs, go!